is up, RotoGrinders? 6-game NBA DFS slate. You got myself, Dean's 904, if you want to get all technical. TJ's Warwick, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And a very sharp orange today, very sharp. And you have Chop, who's a two-time millionaire winner. Chop is in some sort of mischievous deep thought, looking like Dr. Evil over there, Mr. Burns. Like you have some sort of a master plan, Chop. How are things in your world? How's Tuesday treating you, Chopper?
It's all right, Dean. I mean, it's Tuesday. You can't complain. You know, there's all kinds of good stuff going on here. We got NBA tonight. We've got little college hoops. I'll play some DFS college hoops. Why not? We even got a little college football. Why not, man? Yeah, a little college football, a little 3-gamer on a Tuesday. Can't beat that, Dean. Got
Is
great
it action?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah, it is. Got some great projections here at RG. Don't even really gotta worry too much about digging and diving. Tuttle will get us all the information we need as far as injuries. So play all that, Dean. And just now I'm catching wind of a major trade, Dean. A major trade in MLB baseball. Get your Mets futures. Get your Mets futures. They just acquired Jose Siri.
Oh, that's all right. Get excited.
All in. They're all in.
That's the one piece that they were missing, I guess, to take him over the top.
Oh, he's best friends with Juan Soto. That must mean Juan Soto is on the way, my friend.
Is that true? I didn't know that. I didn't know they're best friends.
Vladdy Guerrero is best friends with him.
They might go for Vlad. I've heard Vladdy's on the block too. They might do a double dip here, man, and get them all.
Francisco Lindor was best friends with him.
How many best friends does he have?
And Lindor plus Siri, for sure. Something big's happening in Mets land in the offseason before the winter meeting starts. Anyway, yeah, Dean. Also, my Rockets, we lost last night by 1 point on a Lillard layup with 2 seconds left. And the NBA comes in today and says, oh, yeah, with 20 seconds left, that Giannis rebound, he was out of bounds. That should have been Rockets ball, and that should have been.
You feel better, right? You feel okay now?
No, it's ridiculous. Oh. Probably going to keep us out of the playoffs. That's just the way it works, man. But
I mean, that's the one thing that keeps you out of the playoffs. And,
the West is tough. Anyway. Who's going to – how the Rockets going to crack top 10, man? Those guys are tough.
The refs and reviews are terrible, too, because the Randall game winner didn't count either. He traveled, I believe it was, and they said it after the fact, after the game was over. They said, yeah, that shouldn't have counted.
Crazy. I do like that when they come in and just say, yeah, our bad. Carry on.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, one job.
All your bets are final.
One job. Yeah, one job. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good day, Dean. It's a good day. We can't beat it. Three sports. I'll play all three tonight. Play around with it. Why not? Let's go.
Hockey's a thing, too. You don't care about hockey.
No thinking.
Yeah. That's your worst take, Chop. Not liking hockey.
What? No, there's so many things. I mean, you got to rank them a hierarchy of what you enjoy to play and what you know how to play. Hockey, I'd have to learn it, man, and I just don't have the time or the desire to learn how to. Dean, honestly, a guy could start off with MLB baseball, and if you absolutely don't know anything about it,
yeah.
It's probably could take you a while to figure out, do I want, how does this stacking thing work and all that. That's the same thing with hockey. And hockey's even worse because there's not just stacking, there's first lines, there's second lines, there's third lines, and there's power play lines. You got to know all that stuff. I'm not about to mess around with all that right now.
Don't mess around.
Yeah, but all you got to do is go to the RotoGrinders premium content, go to the DK top stacks. They tell you which ones are the best ones to stack up right there. You pick one of the best expensive ones, one of the best cheap ones, and you make money every night.
Oh, Tim, can you confirm that?
Or just stack the Panthers. Stack the Panthers.
The expert survey, see who the guys like. I'm going to play 3 NHL lineups tonight. I'm playing 150 max for NBA and a 20 max for NBA. But Chop has inspired me. Maybe we'll play a little college football tonight. I may have to slide into the DMs or something, though, because I know nothing about it. I don't know.
Easy. Get in the Discord. Everybody has access to the Discord. The projections, easy peasy, man.
You got any player props tonight, Chop, for football, or you're not that deep into it for the college stuff?
Let's see. I mean, I did take a couple of props tonight just because it's some action and, who was it? Let me pull it up for you, Dean. Talk to TJ for a minute. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, TJ, it's the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup, the in-season tournament continues tonight. Of course, that means none of the teams that played today played yesterday. They've set that up. Nobody's ever on a back-to-back, the back half of a back-to-back for these NBA Cup games. There are 4 teams playing the front half for what it's worth. That's Cleveland, Memphis, the Pels, OKC. Cleveland, of course, 15-0. They have not lost a basketball game just yet, taking on the defending champions in Boston. That should be a fun game for sure. Maybe we see minutes get condensed a little bit more because Boston has to win if they care about this NBA Cup because they lost to Atlanta. Atlanta the first time around when they were 15, 16-point favorites. Atlanta upset them. Don't look now. Like, remember the Pacers made it to the finals last year versus the Lakers? You know who's 2-0 right now? I'll tell you who's 2-0. Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons are 2-0 right now in the NBA Cup. In the same bracket as the Bucks, the Heat, the Pacers, and TJ's Raptors. Yeah, get excited, TJ. The Hawks are also 2-0. The Hawks are 2-0. The Magic are 2-0. And
let me tell you, I am excited about the Raptors.
Yeah? You're excited about playing Scotty Barnes like a max?
Young guys getting better with extended playing time. RJ Barrett looks incredible this year. Grady Dick has taken a big step up.
Chops guy.
Ochai Agbaji looks like a pretty solid NBA player. They're getting young guys who are taking a step up, and when all of a sudden, Scotty Barnes is back and a real star 2 years from now, they add a couple other pieces. It looks interesting. People forget how young RJ Barrett still is.
He's pretty good. But Barnes is good too. But is that the guy I want to spend? I want to pay max money to? Probably not.
I think Barnes is probably a top 5 to 8 player, 22 or under.
Well, you're putting some qualifiers on it.
Yeah, but that's still a pretty good 20. Like, he's young as hell. That's a good barometer.
Okay. I'd have to dig into it, but maybe we'll see. But do you think he's got a chance of being a top 8 player in this league, ever?
Of all time? No.
No. In the current state, in this year or next year, he's the 8th best player in the league.
When he gets to those higher 20s, a two-way player, absolutely.
Okay. All right, Chopper. Would you rather be a Rockets fan?
Yeah.
I'd rather be a Rockets fan.
Oh yeah, for sure, Rockets fan. But I also would like to point out that because he would fact check me if the shoe were on the other foot. But Scotty Barnes is actually 23.
Oh boy,
yeah,
TJ.
I just looked that up too. I was about to correct myself,
things.
but Chop beat me.
Got him.
He's 23 now.
All right, no, yeah, I'm happy, Dean. I'm happy with where the Rockets are. I especially think that there's some equity for to grab Giannis in a trade at some point. But can I?
Who are you rather building around, Scotty Barnes or Alperen Şengün?
Oh, probably Scotty Barnes. Yeah, two-way player. I like the two-way player. Yeah, I think Şengün's good. I prefer Barnes on the wing and stuff, but that's it is what it is. So, Dean, I got the 2 props for you, I bet, tonight.
What do you got?
Okay, so it's this kid named Jordan Simmons, right? We've got him projected for over 20 yards more than his prime. Now, the prop probably raised because we've been slamming it in Discord, but it's Jordan Simmons. It was 65 and a half. It was 65 and a half earlier, but he's still projected at, over 85. But total got him over 85 tonight, and that's pretty good. It's pretty good separation.
It's 72 and a half on Underdog. So we'll take the over on that?
Yeah, why not? Take a shot on it.
Okay.
Then there's this other one, right? This kid named Marion Lukes. They've got the better offensive line that should steamroll that defensive line. Plays for Central Michigan. So I like his yards too.
83 and a half is the current number on Underdog. How do we feel about that?
I'd probably still take it because we're talking about college football. 100 yards is they can get these pretty good. But I will also qualify that and say that it was 74 earlier, and that's what we got there. But it is what it is. It's okay. But that's still in college. In college, we're not really splitting hairs like the NFL. So we should be all right.
All right. We just bet American dollars on it on the old Underdog app. But hopefully we take it down, Chop. We have tools for such things here as well. If you guys aren't aware, you don't have to sit here and wait for Chop to tell you. You don't necessarily have to go to Scores and Odds, scoresandodds.com. That's one way to go. but we have a tool that'll tell you like the best projected, most likely to hit, over, under for prize picks, for underdog, things like that. That's part of the package you get here at RG. I should just go ahead and knock out the read, right? If you just want NBA by itself, it's like $5 less than our current deal. We're offering $79.99 for the very first month, I should say. You get yourself a premium football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA. I say baseball, it's not really happening, but in theory, everything you can think of with the exception of NASCAR, $79.99. You like basketball, you can get the basketball for $75. If you want to do that, sure, I guess. I mean, that's fine. That's all you want, a la carte, but you can get it all for less than $80 for your first month. All right. Big picture as far as the slate tonight, it is a 6-gamer, boys. 6 games. It's kind of a flat week. Don't get used to it. Next week is goofy because of Thanksgiving. It's going to be weird again as far as the slates are going to be odd. You're going to get like 10 or 12 gamers, but I think eventually it's going to flatten out again. We shall see. But the NBA Cup, awesome game. Cleveland, Boston, high and tight. We did just get Peyton Pritchard officially ruled in. Luka Doncic is officially questionable right now. I assume he plays. That's kind of one of the big pieces we're waiting to fall. I believe he was at practice as well, officially questionable. My guess is he plays. Of course, the Joker is still out, which is a big bummer there. We have no Wemby, no Wembanyama. So no Chet versus Wemby matchup with OKC and San Antonio. It's going to be, what's that matchup turn into now? We're talking about Zach Collins versus Jalen Williams. Not as sexy, but that's kind of where we're at. We'll talk about the rebounding stuff for OKC as well. I've been digging into that, and they are giving up an insane amount of rebounds percentage-wise. Their defense is taking a hit as well with the absence of Chet. But, yeah, TJ, we got a 6-game where we can take our time. We can pace ourselves. Chat, join the conversation. Also hit that like button and subscribe. And turn on those notifications. You got us for the next hour plus till we turn it over to Crunch Time. Crunch Time coming in. Tasteful Tides, Tim hanging out. Justin as well from Shot Quality. Of course, Roth will be holding it down. Hopefully his lights are working and good to go after splurging on them there yesterday. TJ, how we feel about today's 6-gamer? I was saying this before. I ran some quote-unquote optimal stuff, and just the way things are, I'm getting a lot of Brooklyn pieces, which I would definitely cut that short of like maybe 3. But it was just, there's a lot of mid-tier guys on Brooklyn that are projecting pretty well on DK. There's no way I'm running 4 or 5 as I was showing earlier. Of course, projections will change as we close in. But what do you have, TJ? How are you feeling about tonight's slate as far as an overview?
I wish I had more for you, if I'm being honest. I feel like I usually come in with this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I'm ready to attack, but we're waiting on, like, we have not very much value, and the value that we do have, like you said, pumping in a bunch of Brooklyn pieces into optimals, it doesn't feel good. We're still waiting on Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Devin Vassell, Rui Hachimura, Karis LeVert, a lot of important pieces that could potentially, like, not necessarily a lot of guys that I would want to play, but a lot of guys that would open up value as the slate moves on here. So genuinely, I don't really know what I like yet, because I feel like I'm still waiting on so many things. I know I'm going to have interest in Dallas, I think, kind of regardless. I'll want to play Luka if he plays, and I'll want to play their whole team if he doesn't. I know I'm going to have interest in OKC and San Antonio. Outside of that, I don't really know what I like here. Like, I know for LA, I'm going to like LeBron and AD, but I'm also going to potentially like Dalton Connect or some of their side pieces if Hachimura's out. So I don't really know here yet.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The past several days, I felt really good. We've got plenty of value to play with, and I don't think we have a lot of value. And like you said, I don't think there's a lot of value stuff waiting to come. I don't expect, even if Hachimura is out, like, it's not going to incredibly move the needle. Like, sure, a guy like Connect would get a little bit better. We have an if Vassell, who's currently questionable for San Antonio. They're already without Wemby. Of course, they're without Sohan as well. Collins looks good, but like guys like Castle and Chim Petting and big body Keldon Johnson might improve a little bit, but nothing really jumping off the page. Boston fully healthy. Cleveland's got some guys. Okoro, LeVert, and Sam Merrill are all questionable. So I guess that could be interesting. I just feel like we're going to see some tight rotations. Like I really think Cleveland wants to win. They want to keep their they always want to win, but a little bit more than they typically do. It's also the front half of a back-to-back. They might do some goofy stuff tomorrow, but they want to win this game tonight and keep that knock Boston out of the tournament, essentially, give them 2 L's. And then Boston, the other side, I think is going to run a pretty tight rotation, but they do have all their pieces. Chop, are you seeing anything differently as far as the slate? Because the way I'm seeing it, the way TJ, it sounds like we don't really love it. But somebody's got to win.
Well, it's a great day to play some GPPs. Very large field, Dean, because there's not that, and which has been very, very typical of NBA basketball so far, is a massive 50 to 50+% owned value play out there that's easy click and it shortens the rosters. And I'm always going to play some GPPs, but that kind of takes the shine off of it. Tonight, your highest owned player right now, percentage ownership ahead of time, is looking like LeBron James, and even that's not. It's high, but it's not. But when you're talking about a 10K player being high owned, well, that's anybody 10K. That's fadeable. A 4K guy who's a super value play, that's not fadeable. 10K is fadeable. After that, it's a real mix of guys ownership wise. That tells me that the slate's up in the air. There's nobody there, it's a lot. Because I've been noticing, Dean, on these really chalky, when there's real chalk out there, boy, you're getting duplicates winning tournaments. That never should be a thing in the NBA or NFL. Or you really shouldn't get duplicates if pricing is good and there's not all that value. So we should get some unique rosters tonight. I don't mind it. Take some cracks at it. This is why we have shot quality to drive us to the best players here, man, on a night like tonight.
I see in the chat they're talking about Davis being questionable. He's not. I have the NBA injury report up right here. He's officially probable. He's probably always going to be probable. It's just the way the Lakers do their things, and also just the way Davis has been historically as well. Hachimura is questionable. That's all you got. Nothing new there as far as Vanderbilt's been out, Wood's been out, Jackson Hayes has been out. A lot of bigs have been out there. And the other thing, the other guy that's popular, Chop, is John Collins. We're seeing getting nice projection. Walker Kessler's out, but there feels like a very much of a heightened risk of a blowout there. And I think that's one of the things you got to do on this slate. I was talking to Tim briefly before the show, and he was asking about can you play LeBron and Davis in the same lineup? Well, first of all, it's a tough salary thing. You can, but I think and we'll get to it. It's the last game of the night. It is the hammer. DK is including the 10:30 game in part because we got to add the slate up. It's only 6 games in total. Does every game have a different time? I think every game has a different time. I'm pretty sure that's what. 1 at 7. That's Cleveland, Boston, Charlotte, Brooklyn. 7:30, 8 o'clock Denver and Memphis. 8:30 New Orleans and Dallas. 9:30 is OKC, San Antonio, and then another hour later, Utah and the Lakers. So as always, be attentive to news. But my thought was Utah's a big double-digit favorite, underdog. That is probably if I'm playing LeBron and Davis together, I would force a Utah run back. But we'll get there. Anything else, Chop, that we should mention before we dive in and go game by game?
Nah, this is Greg Louganis shit.
Does TJ get the reference? Probably not. It's before its time, and it's like American Olympics. He probably doesn't care about American Olympics. TJ, yeah, it's before his time. But
only American Olympics I know of whatsoever are in relation to basketball.
Simone Biles?
Yeah. Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, absolutely. The superstars. But I kind of meant in terms of historical lore.
Yeah, Louganis was a diver from the late 80s, early 90s or so. And Chop, I saw what you're doing. We're diving on in. All right, let's cannonball here right to Cleveland and Boston. Should be an awesome game. Should be a lot of fun. Should have about as good a playoff atmosphere you can get in the regular season. That's what we're going to get. Cleveland, again, 15-0. They're undefeated streak on the line. Despite being 15-0, the disrespect from Vegas and the bettors, frankly. They're still 6-point dogs. Boston is a 6-point favorite. It's high and it's tight, pretty tight, 6 points. 236 is our total. Yeah, Chop, is this just a game we enjoy? I think we should get some pieces here. I think you can tell yourself a story that, like, again, Boston also wants to win to keep their hopes alive as far as the in-season Emirates NBA Cup. I could see just really, really tight minutes in this game, and we don't know about the Cleveland fringe guys that, I guess collectively would matter if all three are out. If one's out, not that big a deal, maybe. LeVert is questionable. Okoro and Merrill, all three of those guys are questionable. Boston is clean. How are we seeing the Cavs and the Celtics, Chop?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to just ignore any single individual game tonight because there's only 6 games and there's, like you said, not that much value. So you gotta dive into anything here, man. You gotta anything. But I'm getting more Boston than Cleveland right now. That's obviously going to be a thing. Jason Tatum is going to jump. Like anytime you can get Boston in a really hyper competitive environment, you want that. If they're just so used to these blowouts a lot that you can't even play guys, but you can play the expensive guys tonight. Jason Tatum, little Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, probably Derek White's arguably my favorite from the game on the Boston side, at least, just because his price tag is still good and he's just really solid in his role, man. He just delivers. I think you have a little love for Al Horford. I wasn't going there, but I see it with the price tag. Didn't you say something maybe that wasn't you on the survey? Somebody mentioned Al Horford on the survey.
I'm off the survey on Tuesday, so that was not me. That must have been somebody else. I have it pulled up, though, so I can take a peek.
Somebody had a little Al Horford love, and it made sense, and I could see that, but I'm not going there. But it's Cleveland, and it's one guy to me that's very interesting in GPPs. I absolutely wouldn't play him in cash, Donovan Mitchell, but in GPPs, I'm very much interested in Spider, just because, Dean, we usually run away from the Boston matchup because they're very tough defensively, but none of that seems to bother Mitchell when you look at his head-to-head with Boston. And I know they'll play head, maybe some guys will look at head-to-head in NBA as if it's BVP in baseball. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. Not enough sample, whatever. But like Boston's been an elite defensive team for a couple of years now, and he's torched them in the last couple of years. And there's that's 9 games worth of sample there. And he torched them in the playoffs. Like absolutely ran it up on him in the playoffs last year before he got hurt. So I don't think the matchup bothers him. And we got this game where, like you've already said, both teams want to win. Cleveland really wants to prove themselves here. Mitchell's going to take a lot of shots, and he's going to be involved in this whole thing. And I think for GPPs, I mean, look at his ownership real quick. Oh, that's nothing. Like, he's minuscule ownership here for a guy that has that kind of potential. Like, he's a walk-in 50-piece against Boston and this elite defense in his recent history. And he's been great here with Cleveland this year. In these last few games, he's really stepped it up. Like, I could see Mitchell being a slate buster kind of guy. But I like some of the expensive pieces in this game, and we'll get the value somewhere else. But, yeah, you get an environment like this, you can't ignore it, man. So this is a great place to spend, like a Mitchell, Jaylen Brown run back. What a great way to start a GPP lineup.
I mean, as always, the thing with Mitchell is he's got to score. He's got to score a lot. He's got to score like 35 or 40 points because he's probably not going to get there other ways. He'll sprinkle in some boards and some assists, but he's got to put up a bunch of points. Yeah, like you said, the ownership reflects it at 4%. We're giving him 35 minutes as a median projection. It wouldn't shock me if you played 37, if you played 38, if the situation called for it. But these are the 2 best offensive teams, too. But you got to talk about their defense. Cleveland and Boston are 1-2 in offensive rating. No surprise. Cleveland, of course, playing faster this year as well. Just looking at the pace stuff, they're 7th fastest this year in basketball as far as pace. New coach Atkinson, certainly it's worked for them so far. Boston, not terribly fast, 24th. And defensively, they're both positive, but not like amazing. Cleveland's 7th best, Boston 9th best, but not like, they're not like in Orlando or Houston or Golden State or OKC territory. I think it's a good game for tournaments. I like your assessment, Chop. What do you think, TJ? Nobody getting more than 17% ownership currently. It's Tatum at 17, White at 14, Jaylen Brown at 12, Garland 11, Drew Holiday at 10. I love Mobley at 5. I just think that guy's just developing, and he's going to be even better what he is today. That's the guy. I'd rather build around Mobley than Scotty Barnes or Şengün, if I can throw him in the conversation we were having before. But what do you have, TJ, as far as Cleveland, Boston?
I pick Barnes over Mobley, but that's fair. Mobley is pretty incredible, especially defensively. On Cleveland side of things, I love Chops Donovan Mitchell call. I'm huge on him for tournaments. I think he is a great tournament play. Outside of Mitchell, I do have a little interest in Garland. I have a little interest in Allen, but not much. I don't really know yet until we get some answers on these Q tags, because I think somebody like Ty Jerome could be an incredibly strong value if we get Sam Merrill out, if we get Karis LeVert out, if we get Isaac Okoro out, because even though those guys don't do tons outside of LeVert, that is.
Yeah.
We've had Joker out for hours.
Well, he's been out. Joker has been out. I was just answering a question in chat, Steve. Sorry. They were talking about Joker, and I was just replying. Yeah, he's out. He's been out though. For several games. Hopefully things are well. It's a personal issue. Hopefully things are good.
I love the sound usage. Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Sam Merrill, all questionable. And so if 1 to 2 of those guys are out, I do think it opens up somebody like Ty Jerome for me to have interest in. If multiple of them are out, Georges Niang becomes interesting as a value play. And so I'll potentially have a lot more interest in Cleveland. As of right now, it's really just Mitchell with a lot of interest, and then a sprinkle of Garland or Allen. On the Boston side of things, I like Tatum, Brown, Holiday, and Horford, but I don't really think I'd want to be stacking up multiple pieces. Jaylen Brown at 8,100, I think, is my favorite just because of his price tag. Drew Holiday, I think, makes for a very strong value play today. And then I think 4,800 for Horford is reasonable. I just wish I could play him at power forward.
DFS officially available. Dorian Finney-Smith officially available to play. I like the Jerome call. I think he might be good. He's just stuck on a team where he can't really show that he's good.
He's very good for fantasy. Like, he always has been pretty elite anytime he comes in to get minutes from a fantasy perspective. I just kind of remember Jose Alvarado and Ty Jerome always being my min-price guys over the past couple years. Alvarado definitely not there anymore. But those two were two of my favorite min-price guys to plug in anytime they were getting minutes.
Yeah, we're only giving him 18 right now, but that could change with 3 guys currently questionable. Over 20% usage so far in the season, and 1.23 fantasy points per minute as well. So yeah, he's if you're running a bunch of lineups, I think he's certainly worth considering.
He's a proven winner, Dean. He's a proven winner.
Did he win in college? I don't know.
He won a national championship.
Was he the best player on the team?
It's debatable, but he certainly was one of the best couple on the team.
What team?
Virginia.
Who else was there?
I don't think there's any.
It wasn't a great individual pieces.
Not for NBA. Not for the NBA. I don't think anybody ended up becoming like a really good NBA player. Might have been DeAndre Hunter was the best player on the team that year.
Kyle Guy is being thrown out in chat. Is that a person that played basketball or no?
Yeah, but that's not. DeAndre Hunter was the best one on that team that year. That was one. But yeah, he's a winner, man. He's a winner, dude.
Anything else of note as far as this game, boys, or shall we move on?
No, I think we can, from my end at least, we can move on but just still got to keep an eye on those 3 questionable guys.
Moving on.
Yeah, we have an if-then, but our if-then is set up as if all 3 are out, and the chances are all 3 aren't going to be out. But, it is – if all 3 are out, Jerome will be projected for 24 minutes. So, just kind of keep an eye on that. And, of course, Mitchell and Garland, they would get boost. Mobley get a little bit of a boost as well. You mentioned Niang. All right, just kind of keep an eye on that. We'll know. If we don't know, crunch time will know, because that is a 7 o'clock game. That is the first game of the slate. Hornets, Nets, 221 is the total. Nets are 3-point favorites here. We just got official confirmation that DFS was in. He was probable all day long, so no surprise there. Cam Thomas good to go as far as his back. He's probable. Zaire Williams also probable with his hip. Charlotte, the only piece I think we're waiting for here for as far as Charlotte, nothing as far as things that are new. Trey Mann is questionable. TJ, we kind of touched this earlier. Good matchup against Charlotte, obviously. Some of the prices are pretty good. But like if you run optimal stuff, let me see if I get something new. And I know we haven't had an ownership, a projection boost in a while because news has not really dropped, so nothing has really changed. But last I saw, and I'll run it again, I was getting way too much Brooklyn. I don't want to have like 4 or 5 Brooklyn players. That seems outrageous. What do you have here, TJ? Brooklyn and Charlotte.
Yeah, on the Brooklyn side of things, DFS and Zaire Williams are probably the 2 cheap guys I'm most interested in. 3,900 for Zaire Williams, 4,100 for Finney Smith, but I don't really feel good about either of them. And if they're going to pick up 20+% ownership, like we're projecting right now, makes me want to not do it. So I do hope a lot more value opens up here because I don't feel good about this one. I feel comfortable fading Schroeder at that ownership. He has not been playing nearly as well from a fantasy standpoint as he was earlier in the season. So Schroeder at 26%, I think, is a pretty easy fade. Ben Simmons at 18%, I think, is a pretty easy fade. I kind of feel like there's been so many times where I see him having a great start to a game, and I go, "Oh shoot, I should have got some Ben Simmons." And then he finishes the game with the
He
same
stops playing
points as he had in the second quarter because he stops playing. So Simmons, I feel like I can fade if he's picking up ownership. Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas are the guys I'm most interested in because I think they have the best ceilings for their prices. Thomas's price keeps going down, and his median is never going to be all that good, but his ceiling sure as hell always is. I feel like that's one of the most heated arguments we've ever had. Like 2 years ago, was on Cam Thomas.
Me and you?
Me and you on a GrindersLive show. But
you were pro and I was con, right? I imagine, right?
Yeah. No, I was never pro in real life, but pro in fantasy.
Okay.
But I can't. Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, the Cams are the ones I have the most interested in. Finney Smith and Zaire Williams look okay, but I'd be looking to get off of that chalk. On the Charlotte side of things, Grant Williams, I kind of feel the exact same rinse and repeat of what I just said about Finney Smith and Zaire Williams. I kind of view him exactly the same as those two. He's getting more minutes though, so I feel a bit better about him at that as a value piece than the other two. Like that you can play him at power forward. You don't have to play him at the center. Brandon Miller, I think, is interesting. I just don't really know if I need it. Don't know how much of a ceiling there is there with LaMelo in the lineup. But LaMelo, even though his price tag keeps going up, he's just going to go for 50+ fantasy points every single game. I feel LaMelo and Cade Cunningham this year are 2 players that I've just felt so comfortable clicking their button because I know they're just going to get me 48 to 55 every single night. So LaMelo Ball, 9,800. I think there's still, as our guy Chief would like to say, some meat on the bone. I'm in for LaMelo at 9.8.
Chopper, your assessment. I should say that DK is more Brooklyn stuff's coming in on DK than it is on FanDuel, just like it's a general thought. I ran don't ask me why. I have 69 lineups I ran. That's how many I ran. That's what I picked. I don't know why it's what I picked. That's how many I ran. I add some juice to it, a little bit of bells, a little bit of whistles. I don't put any constriction as far as number of players per team. Just going to see how lineups are playing out. And 42% DFS. Dorian Finney-Smith, most popular player I'm seeing on DK. Don't love that. I think he's fine, but also Simmons coming in. I love the point guard center eligibility, which is amazing, which is what he currently has right now. And I guess that's right. I think that's right. And it's a good team to be a center against, probably Charlotte, right? They don't give up a lot of assists for what it's worth. But Chop, how are you feeling about Brooklyn, specifically on DK?
It's feeling like TJ's dropping the ban hammer on people, man.
I'm not. What's going on in chat? I've not been paying attention.
TJ's dropping the ban hammer on people, man. That's all I see.
He's got that Thor complex.
So DK, well, they're gonna pop on DK because, man, we say this all the time. Every slate in DFS is unique. There is no cookie cutter slate, baby. Like everything is so different, and we don't have the value today that we normally do. And there's not a person on Brooklyn on DraftKings priced over 7K. Like everybody's under 7K. So they're just going to pop, and that's just the way it is. This is where you have to step in, and you can't let the optimizer do everything for you. You have to make rules yourself, and you have to put the rule in there. I only want max 3 of these guys or something like that, because this isn't like, oh, they're all popping because, and we've seen it before, where like the top 4 guys are out for a team, so it's going to jam 5 guys in from the same team because there's
play
just
those guys.
Yes, there's not a bench. They are the bench.
Not Indiana from yesterday.
Something like that, yeah. And so this is a different situation. You got to max these. You got to max out on, like, max Brooklyn out on your optimizer rules. But that's why. And Cam Johnson's the most. He's like the steadiest guy in here, man. Right. And he's only 5,600, so he's definitely the top of the list on Brooklyn for me. The other guys are okay. Cam Thomas is a microwave. He's a GPP winner when he's hot. When he's not, your lineup is toast, but that's okay. But that's what he's there for. That's why you don't play him in cash. Schroeder started off hot, kind of falling back now a little bit, but he's still GPP worthy. And the other guys are fine too. And there's good run backs here. LaMelo Ball, like TJ said, LaMelo Ball is just awesome. It's a great matchup for him. Like, would you be surprised if he walked away with 60 points tonight? I wouldn't. So he makes for a great run back in those GPP lineups with your 3 Brooklyn guys in there. So Brandon Miller's in a bit of a slump, but that's okay. Slumps can be broken in the NBA really quick. So he's on there. Miles Bridges is got a very good price tag too. So the game definitely has some appeal to it in GPPs.
I just pulled up the weather in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's 20. That's 20 in American. What is it in Canadian?
Are you kidding me? Golly, that's great Thanksgiving
like
weather.
minus 10-ish.
So you're not wandering outside anytime soon?
No, not by choice. It snowed like 1.5 feet today. And so I will be hibernating for the next 3 to 4 months until it becomes the best place in the world to live again.
Is the putt closed? They just shut it down? Is that seasonal?
Oh yeah. No, that's just seasonal.
Oh yeah, I want to go.
The arcade beside the Fuddruckers is open year round though.
The arcade besides. Did you know this, Chapo? This might be news to you. There's Fuddruckers still exists in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada.
What a great place!
Great place.
What a great place, man. Love me some Fuddruckers, but so can you get a plane out of there? Is my question. Like right now when it's snowing, can you get out of there?
Yeah.
If you had to?
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great place to spend Thanksgiving. I'd love a little snow in Thanksgiving. It'd be fantastic, Dean. But then I'd have to get out of there because I don't want it for 3 months.
Yeah. It's definitely not something you want like long term. This is like genuinely not that bad because it's like, I know this sounds crazy to you, but not that cold. In January, we will have a month of it being
0
at the nicest -30. American.
That's what?
They match up at that time. They match up when it gets that cold. Celsius and Fahrenheit match up when it gets that cold. Yeah, we'll have like a month in January to February where it'll be about -30, and then come March it'll be back up to about +30 American. Snow starts melting, and by April it's a nice spring.
Poll in chat: do you guys enjoy the in-season tournament? Producer Steve, not the product placement, Steve. It's the Emirates Cup. They paid a lot of money for that. The NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup. 40%
not paying
yes.
us a lot of money.
No, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm just complaining for no reason. 34% don't care. 10% the courts are cool. Yeah, the courts. I like the courts. I feel like it must be difficult for the arena workers to turn that over every. We just keep it one way. Nope, got to keep changing it. 11% no. Why would you not enjoy it? Like, there's no downside to it. I don't. What's the no? Like, there's no negative. They're going to play the games anyway. But whatever. It's your opinion. That's why we have a poll. Chop, you have a take on the NBA Cup? You care about this thing, or you don't care?
Fantastic. It adds a little, it adds a little pizzazz to the season, which would have been just a grind. And I've heard plenty of NBA. Don't think these NBA players don't want to go to Vegas for the play-in tournament or the what is that next round called? Is it?
Yeah, Vegas is where the finals are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't think they. I've heard them. I've heard interviews, and they want to get to Vegas. So it's a thing, man. They want to. They're actually giving effort, which is, you can't say that throughout the course of an 82-game season. Sometimes.
Anything else of note as far? What is this GIF? Am I missing something? Is there a reference there I don't know? This guy saying terrific. TJ, what was that GIF? Do you know what that was?
I don't know what the GIF is from, but I do know that that's Elijah Wood, Frodo Baggins.
Is that what the reference was? Okay.
No, that's the actor. Like, that's nothing from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's the
The
actor.
reference was that the tournament is fantastic or terrific.
Okay. It's a deep cut. I overthought it.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Okay. Denver, Memphis, 224 is a total. Denver also 0-1, so they got to win if they have any chance, any hopes of moving on outside of their bracket. They're over. They're in Memphis tonight. They're 6-point dogs. Of course, there's no Joker. He's out. Gordon's obviously out. Memphis, Zach Edey is not playing, and Marcus Smart is questionable with an illness. He had the fish. Chop, I'll let you get us started here. Denver, we know the absence of Joker. Murray gets elevated. His price has also been elevated too because we've seen this situation. Dario Saric has done pretty well in the absence. I think the absence of Edey kind of, I don't want to say solidifies. You never really know what Denver's going to do with their 5, or they can play a small ball 5. But I feel better about Saric with Edey being off the court because, that would be weird if it was Saric against Edey. Not that Edey plays a ton, but just kind of figuring out how those matchups go. But before, we loved Denver, right, when they lose Joker. But the prices have kind of adjusted the last couple games. Is there still meat in that bone as far as Denver stuff? Do we like Murray? Do we like, Brown, Porter, Watson, Saric? Westbrook off the bench has been kind of disappointing. But, in theory, he can do some things. What do you got, Chop?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. It's a 6-gamer and you don't have any value. You got to try to take advantage of it. So any way you can. I do like Sarge tonight. I'll be over the field on him. That's a good price tag on DK relative to the rest of the value tonight. Murray is okay. 8,300 is a lot to pay for a guy who is having problems reaching that ceiling this year. And I don't know. Some people are saying he's washed. I'm not one of those guys. I'm gonna let him have
Canada's own Jamal Murray.
He had a rough Olympics too, and
it was so bad.
So some people are saying maybe he's washed. 8,300, and he hasn't hit a big ceiling this year. So I don't know, man. That one, you still got to play him because Jokic is out, and it's a fine matchup. So Strother is okay in this spot, 3,600. We're craving some value. There's a $3,600 guy who's not bad, and Westbrook will be all right. Porter Jr. is usually a guy who gets a big bump here when Jokic is out. Of course, 72 is not an easy price tag to swallow, but he's all right. I think Memphis. I'm not getting a lot of Memphis here. Not getting to a lot. At 3,800, probably Brandon Clark will be my most owned guy in this game, just because of the price tag. The rest of them, Jaren Jackson, 79. Great player, lots of upside, but expensive. Desmond Bane, with some of these other guys healthy, kind of caps him a little bit. Scottie Pippen's up to 69. Junior is up to 6,900. That's a lot. So I don't know, how much you can. He's all right. Still going to project well, but they're priced appropriately on Memphis. I would maybe take the Brandon Clark value, take the Strother value, and Saric are my favorite players from the game.
Yeah, I don't feel great about the Clark thing. I hear what you're saying. I thought Huff would be kind of interesting. He's cheaper at 3.3. He's been really good fantasy point per minutes. Good inside guy as well as far as blocks. But again, those minutes are unpredictable. Memphis is probably, I'm not on the projection team, but I'm guessing the hardest team, one of the harder teams in and out every single day, trying to figure out their rotations. We're giving 16 to Huff, 15 to LaRavia, 21 to Clark, 20 to Aldama. This game can definitely go small with Denver, right? We did see Jordan was dusted off as a backup center, but he doesn't have to play. This game can absolutely go small. So it can go in a multitude of directions. And I guess lean in on that stuff. But Memphis is probably going to play their 10 and a bunch of guys in the teens and the 20s. We got 30 minutes finally for Bane. Again, they're on the front half of a back-to-back. Maybe we get Bane over 30 minutes tonight. I think that's possible. Do like Triple J as well with Joker being out. A little less chance of him getting into foul trouble. Jump in there, TJ. How do you feel about Memphis and Denver?
So I'm less interested in Murray because, like you guys talked about already, he's just not looking good. I don't think he's washed. He just looks either hurt or out of shape. Like he doesn't look anywhere close to as fast or as bouncy as the Jamal Murray that we're typically used to seeing. So I think maybe he's hurt in some way. Maybe he's not in the same shape this year as he has been in the past. I think the hurt thing makes more sense, just kind of consistently playing through the Olympics and not looking good there either. Because when would he fall out of shape? But yeah, it just hasn't looked like the same person this year. And that dates back to the Olympic. He looked absolutely terrible. Outside of that, I think this is the game that I'm most interested in picking up value from. Like, I don't think that I like this value a lot better than the Brooklyn value. But for example, people keep saying like it's father time. He's getting old for Jamal Murray. He's 27 years old. Like, no,
He feels like an old
not.
27 though. He feels like an old
like,
27.
It's just because he's having a bad year. Like he'll as soon if he snaps back into who he usually is, gets healthy, whatever he is, I'm sure he's going to be fine. He's got a lot of time left. But Murray always is an elite number 2, right? Like he's never been a guy that's going to do it all on his own and carry a team. He's a guy that can play kind of 80s style ISO ball incredibly well and run a pick and roll incredibly well, which works great with Jokic whenever they need somebody to break somebody down. But Jamal Murray, not it for me today. I like the value. I like the value better than Brooklyn. I'm going to be playing a lot of Dario Saric as it stands right now. I would guess, I haven't done any builds yet, but I would guess Dario Saric is going to be my highest owned player just because 4,700 getting 30 plus minutes in back-to-back games, that feels a lot more secure than any of the other value that we have on this slate. That's like one of the few guys I look at and go, okay, he's clearly underpriced for his role. I like Strother, I like Watson, and I like Christian Brown. I don't think I'm going to get to any MPJ. I'm not going to play DeAndre Jordan, but Saric is my favorite, and I'll play a little Peyton Watson, Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Julian Strother. On the Memphis side of things, I like these guys quite a bit as it stands right now for value. I think the only priced up one I have any interest in Triple J. He's been playing really well lately. That could change at any point, but against the Denver team that doesn't have Jokic, I'm not too worried about that interior defense. And Triple J's bound for another good game here. Everybody else is kind of priced up and not playing any minutes. He, at least I'm confident, will probably get over 30 if the game's somewhat close. I'm going to play some Clark just because the value's thin. I think I like Jay Huff at 3,300 better. He's like him and Saric are probably going to be the value centers I'm going to the most tonight. And then I'll play Vince Williams Jr. as well. Hope he gets back over 20 minutes. If Smart is out, if he's in, I don't know how much I get. But I think these are two teams I'm going to be going to a decent amount for value.
All right. Couple things, CJ. By the way, I do agree with your assessment on Murray. Like maybe he's hurting. Even in the absence of Joker taking 15 shots, they're running this game back. I believe they played on Sunday, same game here in Memphis. 15 shots, 16 shots against New Orleans. That was no Joker. His biggest game of the season, 42 DK points. Maybe he's just Robin. Maybe he's Robin. He's not Batman. And maybe that's what he is, which is nothing wrong with being Robin, but he's 8'3". And if he's going to be kind of popular, and I understand why, because I understand why the math says he should be better, but we haven't really quite seen it. Who's closing this game, TJ? Because I don't think Huff closes. Like this game goes small, right? Like tell me who closes. Who are the 5v5 with 2 minutes to go on the court? Is Russ closing? Maybe not. Memphis? Who's closing for Memphis?
I can't tell you that. I have no idea, and no one has any idea because this is going to be the ugliest game on the slate. These are going to be two horrifically bad teams playing against each other, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to be gross. It might be 120-120. It might be 80-80. It might be 120-80 for either of the teams. We have no idea today.
Yeah. That wasn't helpful at all, TJ.
I don't know, but either. It's true. It's true. And
I don't know. I don't know either.
This game for tournaments. And it's why I like this game for tournaments, because I think there's a lot of potential upside and definitely downside for the prices as well. I don't think they're necessarily outside of Saric as safe a value as a team like Brooklyn, but I think the upsides are a lot higher. And so I think what we want to do in tournaments is get overweight on them because I do think the upside is high.
Yeah. I think Saric closes. I feel pretty confident he closes. I feel pretty confident this game goes small, so I don't think Huff closes. And he's not going
Saric
to
is the guy that I think is the best, safest value on the slate, so he's probably going to have 12 points.
You have a guess, Chop, as far as how do you think this game goes small? Is that the likelihood?
Yes. Zero doubt about that.
So that should hurt Huff, especially if he's not starting, which we don't expect him to start. But he only needs like 18 minutes to get there anyway, right?
Yeah, I don't think we're really expecting him to close and play 25 plus minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to figure out like how this goes. And we don't know about Smart either. And Memphis had, Aldama could close this game. Kennard can close this game. Wouldn't be shocking. We're projecting Wells to start. I'm not certain he closes.
I think it's like if it's close, I agree with Chop 100%. It's going to go small, but I don't think we should assume that this will be a normal game that ends close and has normal closing lineups. Like these are two teams that are probably wanting, no, they're not wanting to lose, but they're two teams that don't have very many good players out there. Like this could go pretty ugly either way.
All right, let's move on. We got 3 more games to go. We got crunch time coming in about 25 minutes or so. Next game up, it's 8:30. You got to wait a half hour after Denver and Memphis. It's New Orleans. It's Dallas. Dallas is a 13-point favorite, which tells me, and I already kind of feel, you don't know, but I think Luka's playing. I think Luka's playing tonight at home. NBA Emirates Cup game. He's currently officially questionable. He was at practice today as well. I expect him to give it a go. Nothing new for the Pels. They're hurting. They've been hurting for a while. Everything's kind of adjusted. Boston, Green, Murphy, Ingram, Misi expected to draw the start there for New Orleans. Dallas had so many rebounds last game. That was against OKC, right? That was the insane PJ Washington game. Everybody got there against OKC, if not mistaken, as far as rebounds. Again, we talked about that earlier. We'll touch on it again later on. But, TJ, where do we have Dallas and New Orleans? Luka, I assume. You tell me otherwise. Do you think Luka plays? I assume he plays. Yeah,
I'm assuming he plays right now. I kind of hope he doesn't. That'd be fun. But I am kind of assuming he plays. Svetlana in chat. Poor Pels. Like, this team is just so broken down and battered. On the Pelican side of things, Ingram and Murphy would be the only two I'd have interest in. I'll play both of them. But on the Dallas side of things, Luka and it'd be the one I have most interested in. Just because we have no value, I think you can play, even if Luka's in, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Harrison. I was going to say Harrison Barnes just because somebody just asked about it in chat. And then I thought for a second, he's still on the Mavs. Sure. He's not on the Mavs. But you can go to some of these guys for value, even if Luka's in. But I think if Luka's out, this is probably the team I'm going to target the most on the slate.
Murphy projects pretty well for New Orleans. He's kind of working his way back. He hasn't been good so far, but he's got a pretty good price at 5'6". He's got to get hot from threes. Probably has to do some things for this game to stay close. Did have his best game last time out against Denver. Put up 33 DK, 7 of 15. Still only 2 of 8 from 3, but there's a chance he can make 4 or 5 threes, and you're on your way. And he's looking interesting in the mid tier. And yeah, I didn't do the rundown, but like Alvarado, Hawkins, Herb, CJ, DeJounte, Zion, all outs for New Orleans. I think soon they're going to start. At least some of those guys might start coming back, but it is a big mess here for New Orleans. Chop, what do we have as far as Pels and the Mavs?
4,400 for Derek Lively is an extremely juicy price on DraftKings. That's very nice right there. That's probably my favorite player in the game here on DraftKings. So Trey Murphy is probably my favorite player in general, but the price tag on FanDuel is so much better it's not so much, but it's a lot better. So, same with Brandon Ingram. I love Brandon Ingram on FanDuel. Not as much at 93 on DraftKings, but those are two guys right
Tough
there.
price.
Yeah, but Lively at 44, they're giving you a little something right there to play with tonight. Assuming Luka's in, not a ton of not a ton of 89 for Kyrie with Luka in just doesn't cut the mustard, man. So I don't know. The bigs for Dallas 44 and 4,900 are extremely good prices, but I definitely prefer Lively 500 cheaper and probably, in my opinion, a little bit better player.
What's interesting, Chop, is we have the if then set up for if Luka's out. What's so funny? What did I miss? Oh, is that producer Steve's having a good time?
What does that even cut the mustard? I don't even.
You said cut the mustard, and I never heard that.
You never heard that one? I've heard it, but I don't know what it really means.
I typed it in, and there was something there. So
it's one of those Texas sayings.
I'm not making it up. It's something, but I don't know what it means.
That's a thing. It hit Florida. Yeah, the people know what cut the mustard means. Cheese, that's a totally different kind of cutting. It's a different thing. I don't know if you heard that. Is that up there in Canada, TJ? Cutting the cheese?
Yeah, well, that's what I just said. Is it like cut the cheese?
Oh, no. Cutting the mustard means like, do you need to explain to you or no?
I mean, I don't need it. I mean, I don't know what it means. I don't know that I need it explained, but
not quite doing it. Just not quite good enough. Not at par, basically. I pulled up the if then stuff, and like Kyrie's not jumping off the page, which is kind of interesting. Typically he is, but like Chop referenced, he's just really priced up. Not that you can't play him. Of course, his ceiling gets greater. PJ Washington would be a slight value. Lively would be a slight value, but Kyrie would be fine, but not amazing. Gafford fine. Clay fine. Jaden Hardy, maybe. This game gets blown out. Hardy, I guess, if you want to play that route. It certainly feels like it's a blowout on layaway. 13 points right now is the spread with New Orleans on the road and fully depleted. Is there anything else of note we should say here, TJ, as far as the Pels and the Mavs?
No, another one that we got to wait on some news for, waiting on the Luka stuff. If we get news that Luka's out, Dallas is probably going to be my top team to target on the slate. As it stands right now, I think everybody's priced pretty appropriately except for the big men, Lively, Gafford, Washington.
Chop, you said you liked Ingram on FanDuel. He's 9-3 on DK. What is he on FanDuel? Is he 8-ish?
I believe it was 8-6.
Yeah, that's a better price, obviously. Is Boston still $10 on Yahoo? Because he's been that way for a while.
Oh, yeah. Who's Kid Yahoo here? Come on, we need Kid Yahoo here. Kid Yahoo just takes advantage of those $10 players all day long, man. Kid Yahoo.
He's 15 now. I'm saying he's $15 on Yahoo, which is still, I guess that's still probably pretty good on a slate that doesn't have a ton of value. But for like the longest time, he was $10, and like I imagine, they're telling us in chat, our Yahoo guys, I imagine that that's how you start your lineups every single day. You play Boston for $10 because he's just too cheap. That's the floor. If you guys aren't aware, $10 the floor on Yahoo. Okay, we got 2 games left to go. About 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So crunch time comes in. OKC, San Antonio, huge bummer. No Wemby, no Chet. We knew about no Chet. The Spurs are 10-point dogs here against the Thunder. 222.5 is the total. We're without Wemby, like I said. Alex Caruso is back for the Thunder. Devin Vassell, midday downgrade with a knee. He's questionable too. We got to keep an eye on that. Probably would make some of the wings like Castle, Champagne, Keldon, Chris Paul a little bit better. I don't know if anybody really jumps off the page. Trey Jones still kind of working his way back. I don't know if he's willing to or able to play right now. But Chop, how are we feeling about this game? I'm just kind of bummed that we're not getting the matchup, if everybody was healthy, but it is what it is. How do we feel about the Thunder and the Spurs?
Spurs. So I'm going to start off with Zach Collins as a Spur. I have some interest in 5,500's a bit much, but with no Wemby, I mean, he's shown he has the upside before. I think it's a weird game for him, obviously, with the Thunder doing what they do with their lineup without Chet. It could make it hard on him. There's a greater than 0 chance that Charles Bassey is actually the best Spurs big man in this game. He's only 3,400. He has upside. He has a game that can They can fill.
It's Colin's birthday, by the way.
Okay.
It's also Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill season.
Okoro and Levert
We
are
got
out.
some value.
Merrill's in. Yeah, curious to see where the projection stuff is. And that's the first game too. I don't like locking in fragile value, but we might. I'm curious to see where the projections. We touched on it. We'll talk about it. Go back if we have time. If not, crunch time, we'll talk about it. But yeah, Cleveland certainly looks a little bit more interesting now. Probably more condensed rotation. Oh, I mentioned before. Oh, go ahead, Chop. I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish your thought.
Oh, no big deal. Chris Paul is going to be fine. A little revenge game for him. I don't think that matters, but he's fine without Wemby. I'm not getting a lot of these other guys don't interest. It would just be taking a shot on one of those Spurs big men. OKC's very interesting. Lou Dort. I mean, he's really good. He's been really consistent this year, and he benefits so much from Chet being out fantasy wise. So, he's going to always find his way on the court for a ton of minutes, and he's actually going to shoot the ball a little bit more with Chet out, so that's good. And they've just got some pieces there. Aaron Wiggins, Mitchell, 3,500, Kason Wallace, 3,800. The rule here is to limit OKC value to one guy, like max one of these guys. But I think they're all in play. I'm not going to pay 10-6 for SGA tonight because I do think that there's a big time blowout risk here, more so than any other game. But those value guys are pretty good. But Lou Dort, man, that's the one I'll probably have the most of from this entire game.
So no team gives up more opponent rebounds in basketball than the Thunder. The Thunder are an awesome basketball team, but they have one. There's an Achilles heel. It's their inability to rebound the ball, and it's been even worse in the absence of Chet Holmgren. For the season, 45.9%. That is the league worst as far as rebounding percentage. The last 5 games, Chet played like a few minutes of one of those games, but that's when he got hurt. 43.1%, which again, an extreme league worst. I did bet Collins over 6.5 rebounds because, assuming he plays 27, 28, 29, 30 minutes or so, I think he's going to walk into some rebounds just because this Thunder team is small.
What's the number on Bassey? Couldn't
get a number. Couldn't get a number.
He's a DFS stud, man, if he were to get some minutes.
Unavailable on the Hard Rock, but I like anybody, and I bet some of the alt stuff too. I think I bet Keldon Johnson over 5 or something like that. Somebody's going to walk in. Somebody's going to get an outlier. Maybe Shenpenny gets 8 or 9 or so. Unless
he just stands out in the 3-point corner most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not expecting. Yeah, just somebody's got to get some boards here for.
Maybe it's Chris Paul. Maybe Chris Paul revenge rebounds, Dean. He's been.
What was the most memorable moment of the Chris Paul Thunder regime for you? There's so many popping in my head, Chop. Is there one that kind of stands out for you?
When they almost pulled the first round upset in the bubble in the playoffs. Almost, man.
All right. There you go. TJ? TJ's probably just excited about Cleveland, but let's focus on Thunder and Spurs right now. What do you got?
Anytime Chop's been going first, I really have not much left to say because I'm on the same page today. I'm buying what he's selling. Charles Bassey is one of my favorite sneaky value plays on the slate. I think especially if this game gets ugly, he's got a ton of upside. I don't mind taking some shots on, I wouldn't play them together, but on Mamu either, just because he's a guy that can put up a lot of points and not a lot of minutes. The mid-tier of value guys, I don't mind any of them. Zach Collins, I'll play. Keldon Johnson, I'll play. Stephon Castle, I like. Julian Shenpenny, I'll play. Harrison Barnes, probably my least favorite of that group. I don't think I need to get to any of him. But the rest of them, I kind of all like in the mid-tier. Chris Paul, I don't really want to play. I think he's probably a little too expensive, but the value cheap guys here for San Antonio, I like. I also agree of the Dort, Wiggins, Wallace's. I wouldn't want to play more than one of them in a lineup, and Dort is my favorite on the OKC side. Jalen Williams, 8,500 without Wembanyama, I think is super, super interesting. He's already been playing well, and now there's no big man on the other side, so he can actually just go to work. So I think Jalen Williams is very interesting. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of my favorite tournament spend-ups on the slate, if not my favorite tournament spend-up.
Last game, the hammer. The hammer that is Utah at the Lakers. The strong side of the hammer is on the Lakers side. So you can play some Utah Jazz players as well, but they're 11-point dogs here. Potential blowout. 234.5 is a total. Lakers, LeBron projecting well, Davis projecting well, Reeves looks pretty good. Also, we don't know about Hachimura. Hachimura currently questionable. If he doesn't go connect, probably jumps in the starting lineup. We're currently projecting Reeves, Reddish, Hachimura, LeBron, and Davis. Walker Kessler is out for Utah. Otherwise, things are as normal. We saw Keontae George played so terrible last game. He got benched in favor of Collier. Collier started the second half. George might not be very good, but earlier in the season they were playing him 30 minutes basically no matter what. Little revenge game for Clarkson. Clarkson's actually got a good price on FanDuel. I think it was like 5-4 or something like that. Shooting guard only. But TJ, I'm gonna have
you on DraftKings. He's great there too.
Is that the okay? I couldn't remember which site it was where it was a good price. Oh yeah, I had FanDuel on. That's where he's pretty good.
He's better on DraftKings.
Yeah. 5-2 is a pretty good price. He's got to score, and that's what he has to do. He certainly can. He can put 20 in that bucket. TJ, you're going first this time. Jazz, Lakers.
Lakers side depends a lot on Hachimura. I'll probably get a lot of connect tonight, or not a lot, but I'll play some connect tonight, and then hope that we have news before OKC and San Antonio, because if Hachimura plays, then I can still change a lot of those connect teams to the Julian Champagnes or the Harrison Barneses, guys like that, if I really need to. Maybe Stephon Castle if I have the salary. So lots of outs if we get that news before the OKC and San Antonio game. If not, like I don't 4,500, we don't have a lot of value. There's still crazier things you could do, but I'd much rather play him if Hachimura is out. I think Reeves is fine, but I also would like him more if Hachimura is out. And like D'Angelo Russell, maybe even slightly interesting if Hachimura is out, but still probably not. I liked that better when like Reddish was also looking like he was going to be out the other day. LeBron and Anthony Davis both look great. I like LeBron better just because the positional eligibility. Straight raw points. I think Davis always has a higher ceiling, but LeBron's playing some amazing basketball right now. I just would rather play him because of that small forward, power forward eligibility when there's so many guys I want to get to at center. On the Utah side of things, I like John Collins a lot today. Another player with power forward eligibility I'm looking forward to getting to there. And then Jared Clarkson at 52 is one of the best value plays on the slate. I like this game a lot. I want a piece of it. It's tempting to make a rule like play one of LeBron James or Anthony Davis in every lineup, but I don't think I'll go that far. But I'll probably try and get at least even if not overweight on both of them.
39 years old, LeBron ran off 4 straight games of triple doubles. Not even cheapies, like 12 assists in every single one of them at least. One game where he only had 10 rebounds, but they weren't even cheapies as far as triple doubles. Just outrageous what he's doing at his age. Nothing new here with LeBron. We're so spoiled. What about playing both? Can you play both Davis and LeBron? You're going to force, you said possibly one of. What about expanding it to allow 2, TJ?
I'd want to make sure I also have like a John Collins in that lineup if I did it, and then it gets kind of tough. I probably would only play one of them just because I want to make sure I get to some Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight. A little bit of Jason Tatum, a little bit of LaMelo Ball, some Brandon Ingram, a lot of Donovan Mitchell. And so I think I would just go 1 because I don't need or not that I don't need to. I want access to a lot of other good players on the slate.
Mab says, any interest in Christie? If no, Hachimura. I mean, how much is he? Like,
his price has gone up, and so I'm a little less interested in him. He's 3,900. I don't think there's a lot of upside there. Like, he had 25 fantasy points 2 games ago. He's been in 29 minutes back-to-back games without Hachimura. He could put up a serviceable score for sure, but I think you're hoping he puts up 25, and if he does, that's best case scenario, and there's not a lot of extra to that.
You're begging for 25, like you said, yeah. That's a no for me as well. You didn't officially say no, I don't think, but I think that's what I heard. I heard no.
I don't think it's this. I don't think it's stupid, but I would not do it.
We do have updates as far as Cleveland. We'll circle back there in a second. Crunch time coming in a couple minutes as well. Kevin Roth, TastefulTides, Tim. We got Justin coming in from Shot Quality. If you're not aware of Shot Quality, if you want to get access to some of the most advanced NBA data in the market, go to Shot Quality Projections at Lineup HQ. We'll be right there on your Lineup HQ at RotoGrinders.com/Shot Quality. The entire season, you can get access for $200, $40 a month. Or if you just want to taste, you want to check it out, see what Shot Quality is. If you like it, it's 3 days for less than $10, $9 and change. Chop, there is a question here in chat from Mr. Richard. DK single entry, is Saric the value play at center? He's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the best value play at center. But, yeah, if you're playing a cash game kind of thing, yeah, sure. He's the easy, low-hanging fruit.
What about Ben Simmons?
GPPs, he's definitely playable. GPPs. Playable.
Yeah.
Like GPP at center, we just mentioned Charles Bassey. I mean, that's a legitimate opportunity for Bassey. If there's foul trouble with Zach Collins, who can definitely get into foul trouble. Yeah, so those are GPPs. The Saric is definitely cash game value.
Bassey's going to get some run. He just feels a little too big for this game against OKC, but maybe they don't have a lot of options either, I guess. Sandro Mamasquilishvili is also an option as well. But if this game gets ugly, you love it. Yeah, if he somehow gets like 8 minutes in if it's a complete wash, he's a guy that can certainly clean up. Let's kind of circle back here, TJ. We do have our projections now for Cleveland. I want to run some stuff and see if that's going to change things. What are you seeing as far as the Cleveland projections now that we have Karis LeVert rolled out and Merrill is in, but also Merrill is out?
Merrill with the shot quality projections is the third highest point per dollar play on the slate now. With the RotoGrinders projections, he's not quite as high, but he is still in the top 10 and the number one value play under 4K. So the fact that he hasn't played in a while because of injury is kind of scary, but this is a guy who we've seen produce well in the past with other guys out and can come off the bench. He is reliant on scoring a little bit, but if he gets hot, he could, and in a game where Boston starters are typically pretty elite defensively and their backups give up a few more points. I think he is very interesting. He's 3,200. I just made a rule that I will play at least one of Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill in every lineup today.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the stuff I ran, it's pretty flat, TJ. Right, the most popular play, 32% on the stuff I just ran, and it's Ty Jerome at 32%, as well as LeBron's 30, LaMelo's 29, really flat. Collins at 32 too. Actually, John Collins. I should be specific because there's several Collins on the slate. The Collins thing is, I think if I'm playing Collins, I'm definitely playing one of the Lakers. I just would not play him a la carte. At least I don't want to. It doesn't make sense from a lineup construction perspective. So Jerome might be popular now. And it's not even like he's amazing, right? He's 4-2 on DK and his projection is 22, which is fine. But that's not amazing, right? It's fine. But that's kind of the nature of the slate. We do have crunch time coming in just a few minutes here. They're knocking on that door. But Chop, I saw our guy in chat, Fieltin' the Plums. So do you want to tell the people who your Fieltin' the Plums play is?
I do, Dean. I got one for you. First off, Dean, before I even give this Fill It in the Plums play, no, time out. That's a showdown thing. That's not.
Is that copywritten? We can't mention in basketball? No
but
plums?
Before I even do that, I do want to give a shout out, Dean, to TJ's internet service provider. He's spotless. The camera works good. The mic works good. Everything's good, even though it's snowing over there. So shout out to the Canada internet people. They do it right. People in Boston, they could learn a thing or two, if you know what I mean.
Kirkwood, are you talking about Bob? Talking about?
There's a particular guy who kind of freezes up a lot in here, but maybe he's just nervous. Maybe that's what it is. So my guy tonight, man, I was on somebody else, but we started walking through it and looking at ownership. I'm going Triple J, Jaren Jackson. I think he absolutely goes ham without Jokic in the lineup here. I like me some Jaren Jackson. It's GPP upside.
TJ, C Triple J, raise him.
Hey, Full Chop didn't take this person. I thought it was in contention. I'm going Donovan Mitchell. I love him for tournaments tonight.
Yeah. Again, you really can't project it, but it would not shock me if Mitchell plays like 38, 39, if Mobley plays 38, 39. I really think that they're going to go for it, and Boston's going to go for it, and the Stars are going to play more minutes. Cleveland plays tomorrow. They rested. They're aware of this stuff. They rested Mitchell earlier in the week. Was it over the weekends? Maybe they rest Mobley tomorrow, or they rest Garland tomorrow, or something like that. They want this game, and they would love nothing more to knock Boston out of the not mathematically, I guess they're probably still left, but they would love to knock Boston out of the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup. They want to keep their 16-0 record good to go. Am I seeing that crunch time? I see there's a whole conference. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't see the top part of it. Crunch time has been hanging out and waiting for 3 minutes. I did not see the beginning of that conversation, but now they're angry. They've been hanging out in the green room for several minutes. We got a fired up crunch time. Let's bring them in right now. My apologies, fellas. What's up, Roth? How are things?
Things are good, man. No worries. We're good. You can eat all the time you like, Dean. I approve of it.
It's a 6-gamer, man. You guys got you're gonna have plenty of time to knock it out. We've had a lot of slates, and it's like we're like 10, 11, 12 games or so. It's a pretty flat week until next week, when it's going to be weird again because of Thanksgiving and nobody's playing and then everybody's playing. So enjoy it while you can. You guys can pace yourself appropriately. But myself, Chop, and do we care about the NBA Cup, Roth? Do you care about such things? This manufactured hype?
I don't yet. When it gets to maybe like the final few teams or whatever, once we're out of group play, I might care a little, the final game, but no, not really. Do you? Does anyone?
It's enhancing. There's no takeaway. There's no negative. They're going to play the games anyway. I think we're getting some sort of manufactured excitement. And I do think we get an awesome game tonight. And also in part just because Cleveland's undefeated so far. These are two of the best teams in the East. So, it sort of checks out. It should be a good time. So, yeah, I like it. And I'm happy for like the 15th guy on the bench who could potentially get a $500K. Those are the ones like they're waving those towels extra hard tonight.
Yeah.
And then nothing else. A trip to Vegas, that sounds like fun too. But yeah. Chop, TJ, we got anything else with the boys, or shall we move on?
Yeah, Tim, it's great to see you. Looking great as per usual. Hope I would love to know your favorite NHL stack of the night. And then Justin, great to see you again. Hope you're doing very well. Roth, we'll see you on the court.
He's mad because I talk shit about his basketball skills, apparently. So he's feeling.
Where's
salty.
the clip of Roth dunking on the alleged 10-foot rim? Where's the clip of that, Roth?
That was a 10-foot rim, but also it was 10 years ago. So
was it 10 years ago?
Yeah.
we might have to mess with the rim these days. And It was legit back in the day, but who knows what we can bust out here in 2024. All right. Myself, TJ's already seen himself out, as is Chop. We do appreciate it to watch the rest of the show. Crunch time, 38 minutes. Take it away, Roth.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Got my guy Justin in the house. You have a basketball patch and then a smiley face. Nice. Oh, you're muted, which ruined the impact of that just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but
right.
it's like a mantra. Hello. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me back on the show. Really excited to be here. But yeah, basketball and smiles. That's all I am. It's all I bring to my shows. So
I literally cannot love that anymore. I am obsessed and I want the hat. I want to wear that hat around. So we approve. Happy to have you back on the show. We got Tim as well. TastefulTides. I don't know. Are you want like a hockey puck and a smiley face?
I should do that. I should hang a couple Bruins jerseys behind me, so I actually have like a backdrop. But
yeah,
we'll get to that sometime. Someday.
Okay. Well, you can always just go with this in the meantime. Yeah, see, it approves. We can always just go with the virtual background in the meantime, if you so choose. Hey, ladies and gents, we've got to dive into things, as Dino mentioned. We got a slate. What was it? 6 games. Not particularly huge here, but we've got some plays and we got to give out some winners. So let's jump into it here. Tim, you want to start us off with a little FanDuel cash talk over at Point?
Over at Point, yeah. Okay, start right.
And it doesn't
right
have to
with
be
the
cash or tournament. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start with Jamal Murray. Jokic is out, so a lot of usage to go around. Jamal Murray projected to play in the upper 30s minutes. A great pace-up matchup. Memphis plays super quick pace. He's 8,100 on FanDuel, so he's definitely going to be popping all over optimals. He's in my cash games right now and in my single-entry team. So Jamal Murray, I think, is good chalk. I'll be playing him gladly. Then I think for tournaments, you can go somebody like Donovan Mitchell at 9,400, paying up to be different. I don't think he's going to show up a lot of ownership. He's kind of expensive also, and it's a perceived bad matchup against Boston. But Cleveland's down a couple players, and this is a big game for the NBA Cup. So I think Donovan Mitchell's a really, really strong GPP play. I think same thing. I think you could go with Darius Garland also. If you didn't want to play Mitchell and you didn't want to spend that much money, you could go down to Garland. He's a pretty solid GBP play as well. And then some value guys. I think Ben Simmons is interesting at 5,200. Russell Westbrook at 5,400 is also interesting because he's going to be coming off the bench and being the sixth man with no Jokic. So we've seen him have some pretty big games. So really, for me, it's Murray's the priority, and then I think Mitchell would be my favorite high-end GPP pivot.
Okay, a couple quick notes here before we get Justin's thoughts at point guard. First off, we've got less than 100 likes with 500 people watching. That ratio is just kind of unacceptable. Just click the like button, free content. And if you don't want to do it for me, do it for Tim. Listen to these comments, Tim. I don't know if you saw this. Maryi says, "You're good, Tim. You don't need a backdrop. Your content is elite enough."
Wow.
And
all right.
Jimmy says, I like this one. "No frills, just skills."
There you go. I like that.
Good. Yeah,
Yep.
I approve of that. Justin, I want to bring you in. Speaking of just skills, what are we doing here with as we start building a FanDuel point guard lineup here?
Oh yeah, for sure. So as everyone may or may not know, I'm going to be using a lot of the shot quality model that's available on RotoGrinders, a little collab project between all the great people at RotoGrinders and all the good people over at Shot Quality. That's right. Hit it. So yeah, look, Jamal Murray, definitely a smash spot in our data as well. And I really love the Russell Westbrook shout coming in at the second best in terms of fantasy points per dollar in the point guard spot over on FanDuel. For me, who caught my eye, I think Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be very popular tonight, but I still think he deserves it. There's going to be a lot of extra minutes, points, value to go around. Someone's going to have to get it in that Memphis side. I know the guys before us were saying Jaren Jackson, probably going to love him too. But the person I actually wrote down was Pippen Jr., and I think a sneaky sleeper is potentially Stephon Castle.
Very nice. Okay, take me to shooting guard, Justin. You get to lead us off in that category.
Sweet. Yeah, I like this is an interesting one. I think you got to go with Brandon Boston for the New Orleans Pelicans. There's another spot where obviously this team is ravaged by injuries. You never really know who's going to pick it up, but they just have such upside in these guys that maybe are not going to have the same ownage that they should for their potential to absorb that usage. And I think Boston does have some nice upside here at the shooting guard position for us in FanDuel's formats. Another one, of course, Christian Brown. Going to be a smash, highly owned, probably worth it. And yeah, someone you're probably going to want mixed in at the very minimum. You don't want to be fading them tonight.
Yeah. Tides, you got a few more names for me at shooting guard?
Trey Murphy. I think you should be playing him at shooting guard or small forward. I don't think it matters too much where you put him, but I mean, the Pellies are super thin tonight, so I think Trey Murphy is way too cheap on FanDuel. At least maybe a different story on DK, but on FanDuel, 5,400 price is really good. Completely on board with Christian Brown, 6,300. I love him in all formats. I love the Castle call that Justin made for point guard. Same goes really for shooting guard. Brandon Boston, he's going to play all the minutes that he can handle. Again, this Pellies team is super thin. So 6,400 for him. I think you can take shots on that in GPPs. Lou Dort. I think he's reasonably strong. I don't know, like maybe more of a cash play. Dort is, because I don't think he has a huge ceiling, but I think he has a decent floor. So he's okay. And then I also like Champagny at 4,600, shooting guard, small forward eligible. I think he's a pretty strong play as well.
Before we move to small forward, Jeanette and somebody else both got a little snarky because nobody mentioned Noel. Here it is. Chili says, so apparently we're all acting like Noel doesn't exist. Are we acting like he doesn't exist? Should we be acting like he does, Tim?
Maybe not that like highly. He's projected for 25 minutes. I don't know. I'm not that enthused with it. I wouldn't hate it if you wanted to get to it in large field GPPs, but I don't think he's a standout play. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, same thing in terms of what shot quality has. Projected ownership is very low. So again, if you like the upside, I understand the fantasy points per dollar spent are probably going to be nice. So if you want, to spend up and maybe take Tatum and Mitchell tonight, which I think has a lot of potential, maybe even like Jimmy said, that Cleveland-Boston game stack tonight. We saw Cleveland's willingness to kind of just run up the score at the end in the NBA Cup because the third tiebreaker is points scored. The second is net differential. So we could see a very fast open gym type fourth quarter, even if the game is decided, right? Even if it's like a 15-point game, just trading threes. So I really like the games stack there. And then, undercut, come in with a guy like Noel for a cheap filler position there. That's very viable to me. You can, you might not get 20 fantasy points tonight, but you're really not paying a lot. So even if you get 18, 19, you're probably going to give yourself a good chance up at the top.
Okay, interesting. All right, very good. Tim, we can now move on to small forward. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, so Brandon Ingram on FanDuel is way too cheap. Again, these Pellies are super thin. We know Ingram's minutes are very, very secure. I know this game does have some blowout concern, but if they can keep it within 10, Ingram should be playing minutes in the mid to upper 30s. He's 8,600. That's way too cheap on FanDuel. So he's definitely going to be in my cash game team. If you're not playing Christian Brown at shooting guard, you should be playing him at small forward. LeBron James, 10K, power forward, small forward. I think he's a really, really great play as well. I love Brandon Miller in GPPs at 67. He's like a good pivot, I think, off of Brown. And then Jalen Williams at 8.8. I think he's another really strong GPP play. This position, I think, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong on FanDuel, this small forward, power forward spot.
Okay. Justin, nodding along with many of those picks. Yeah. Who are some of your favorites there at small forward?
Went down the line on me. Yeah, it's for me, it's Brown, it's Murphy, Ingram. I think LeBron, number 4, Miller, Jason Tatum. Look, if you want to spend up tonight on Jason Tatum, I don't hate the potential for it to be a very big game for him. Shot quality model. Points projection alone was 31.5. Fantasy points projection 52. So that comes out to about 5 fantasy points per dollar. Going to be right in the mix. It's going to be hard. People might not really play him. The projected ownership's pretty low. So I think it's contrarian chalk at some level. And I do think if you believe that you might see a very offensive game or maybe a little bit of a, who can score more rather than who can defend more. It's early in the season. Do teams really want to play defense? The NBA Cup, we've seen sort of how teams are handling it. I tend to like getting Tatum in my lineups tonight.
Okay, very nice. Take me to power forward, Justin. What are your favorites there?
Yeah, so for FanDuel, I'm a Jaren Jackson Jr. guy tonight. I think it is a smash spot for him this evening. And then the obvious one is with Zach Collins. I think he's going to be very highly owned, probably alongside Anthony Davis, LeBron James. But for me, it's Jaren Jackson. I just think the projected ownership for him is so low on this slate, and I think he could really have one of these breakout games in terms of, not a breakout, obviously we know who he is, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a spike, a big game,
like a break the slate, a break the slate kind of
slate
game.
Breaker. That's right. Yeah. That's right. So let's go with that. He's one of my favorite plays tonight in a lot of different ways. So he'll be anchoring a lot of my lineups, probably locked in my optimizers.
Very nice. Okay, Tim, your thoughts here, I guess on that play specifically, and then also just power forward.
Yeah, I like that Jackson call quite a bit because I think people are going to either be paying way up to Davis and LeBron and Tatum, or going all the way down to guys like Saric, Grant Williams, and obviously Zach Collins, who's going to be super, super popular. All of these guys, Zach Collins, Grant Williams, Dario Saric, they all have power forward center eligibility. So I guess, they're all really, really strong value plays. I'm probably going to be paying down at power forward with one of those, a couple of those guys. And the other differences between FanDuel and DraftKings is that AD also has power forward center eligibility also. So all these guys that are really, really strong plays are power forward center. If you get off of any of those really popular plays, like a Jaren Jackson, you're automatically going to be pretty contrarian with your team. So I do really like that call by Justin. But in cash games, I think you're paying down for obviously Zach Collins and then Grant Williams or Saric, and then you're playing AD at center.
Okay, very good. I do want to get more of your center thoughts in a minute, but I saw you typing about I think Dalton Connect here a little bit. I believe he's small forward on FanDuel, but he might just be really good at basketball, and he had a huge game last time. Are we interested? There we go. Connect 4.
Yeah, so somebody asked about like if Rui sat, and I said that would really bring Connect into play, firmly into play on both sites. He's small forward only, I think, at 5,100 on FanDuel. Yeah, so I mean he's a really strong play. We already have him projected for 24 minutes. That would probably rise to upper 20s to low 30s if Rui were to sit. Assuming
Are you only playing him? Are you only playing him if Rui is out?
I would. Maybe you can play him if you're playing like a really, really large field GPP. But I would not recommend him, really.
Okay, fair enough. Take me to center, and then Justin, I want to get your thoughts at center next.
Yeah, so like I said, it's loaded with power forward centers. So Zach Collins, Anthony Davis, even Jaren Jackson, who we both like for GPPs. I'm prioritizing Davis as my one big spend up on FanDuel, but you can obviously get different if you want to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, John Collins, I guess at 7,600 is one guy we haven't discussed. He's a decent play at 7,600. But I mean, really, I'm going all the way up to Davis or going down to Collins, Williams, or Saric for me.
Okay, Justin, you want to throw a few names in the mix there at center?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Jaren Jackson having the dual eligibility, but then also Evan Mobley, I think, is someone who could score 20 points tonight. And then maybe if you want to get really crazy and go out of the box, large GPP, Al Horford. I think we could see maybe the Celtics just like trying to analyze how the actual play is going to go. Al Horford is definitely going to be, standing on that 3-point line tonight, trying to space out that floor, draw out some of the bigs for Allen and Mobley out a little bit to allow for some better penetration. I think he could very easily take 4 or 5 threes tonight if he's, if they're shooting, especially, and it's a very fast-paced game. Horford could be finding those threes, kickouts from transition penetration from Tatum off of like a long rebound. I wouldn't be shocked to see Horford take advantage of maybe a little bit of stickiness from some of those bigs, open looks. That's all you need. He's a great shooter. He's a knockdown shooter. So if they don't come out on him, he could definitely score 12, 15 points tonight.
Very good. Okay, guys, we have done a wonderful job walking through FanDuel. We, of course, got to talk some DK as well, where we're searching for the value. In fact, DFS is all about the value. Busiest time of year in the sports calendar means it's the perfect time to get some value with RG Combo. For a limited time, you get your first month of combo access for $79.99. That is just $5 more than NBA Premium. You do not want to pass up that great value. And then, as Justin mentioned, if you want some of the most advanced NBA data in the market, get shop quality projections for Lineup HQ. You get 1 month of access for $40 or yearly for $200. Or if you just want to see what it's all about, test run 3-day pass is $9.99. So make sure you are giving that a shot. And with that, let's pivot it to DK. Worth every penny. If The Rock says it, you know it's true. Justin, what are we doing on DK at point guard?
I just want to quickly give a huge shout out to both teams behind the shot quality product. It's been killing it. I've been having so much fun. It's really accurate. Been applying some of my own alternate pricing stuff to it to figure out some fun plays. Not even biased. It's great.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it's been awesome. But yeah, let's switch over to some DraftKings. Start at the top. Yeah, point. So for that, I mean, for what the shot quality model has tonight, what I had coming into this was going to be Darius Garland. I think he's a strong play tonight, someone who is not really going to have the highest ownership. And then also Russell Westbrook is always loved by the shot quality model because at the end of the day, and we always say this at SQ, if we could name it as true as possible, it would be called possession quality. And Russell is going to get possessions, right? Like, and that is the name of the game in any fantasy sport is opportunity. And so that means that, yeah, he might really disappoint you tonight. He might go 1 for 8 shooting, and it might be a terrible choice. But the truth of the matter is that he could be in the winning lineup in GPP tonight if he hits 6 of 9 shots and delivers value to everybody who, you know, took a swing, because there's going to be a lot of extra value to soak up without Jokic. So yeah. I look at scary, but scary picks are my favorite picks. I think you got to take at least a little sprinkle of Russell Westbrook tonight.
Okay, I'm going back to the well. I feel like I talked him up in this situation a few games ago, and he was terrible. So it's hard. It's hard for me to click that name now. But he sucks, but he's good. He doesn't suck. He's not great anymore, but he still has the opportunity, and hopefully he can put some points up. Tim, you on board with a little Westbrook, or are you looking elsewhere?
I like it better on FanDuel, but probably the entire field's going to agree with that also. So he's going to be really, really low owned on DK, like 5%. So I love it for GPPs. My favorite point guard is still going to be Jamal Murray at 8,300. Yeah. He's definitely going to be like your cash game point guard. He's also point guard shooting guard on DK, so that's really nice. I also should have mentioned SGA on FanDuel, but I also like him on DK as a tournament pivot at like 4% ownership, projected ownership. So 10-6. I think he's a really intriguing pivot. Like, instead of like paying up for like LeBron or AD, who are going to be way more popular, get different by paying up for SGA. I really like that for GPPs. Same thing with Mitchell. He's going to projected for super low ownership. So I really like Mitchell. So really, I think, and the other person I like quite a bit is Drew Holiday, who is 5,200. He's going to be playing around 35 minutes. He's, that's really, really cheap. So I do like that. And I do have some interest in Ty Jerome at 4,200. He should be coming off the bench playing minutes in the mid 20s. So I don't mind him for large field GPPs.
Okay, good stuff. I believe take me to shooting guard then, Tim.
Yeah. So once again, we should be rostering Christian Brown at 5,900. I think he's the clear and obvious choice for cash games. Jordan Clarkson, I really like at 5,200. He's shooting guard only. I think he's completely fine for cash games or large field GPPs. I really like Brandon Miller tonight also. I think that's a pretty decent spot for him and a decent price. And then some lower price guys like Castle and Dort, I think are decent. And then where's Sam Merrill? Okay. Yeah. Sam Merrill, 3,200. He's starting. I think he's a really strong points per dollar play. I mean, if he gets those minutes and if you really need somebody cheap and you want to go more stars and scrubs, he's definitely a viable option in any format. And
I'm not too familiar with his game, but he's essentially just needs to hit the threes. And if he does, you're good. And if he doesn't, it's a bust.
I think that's a pretty good assessment, to be honest with you. I'd be curious if Justin agrees with that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm there with you, and he's right up there at the top in terms of that per dollar spend. It's an interesting night for DraftKings shooting guards for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of people heavy on the Nuggets, and as they should be. Also like Jordan Clarkson. Stephon Castle is definitely a player who shot quality metrics like a lot on a per dollar basis. And then Zaire Williams might have an ability to get you 21, 22 tonight. Could be a interesting GPP play. I'm not totally sold, but I'm not against it either. And then a little higher here than he was over on FanDuel is Derek White for us, and also Desmond Bane. So not loving them, but also Bane could definitely have a good game. He could have a high ceiling.
Very good. Take me to small forward, Justin. What do you like there?
Yeah, for the small forwards over on DraftKings, for me, it's there's so many options for it's Tatum, Ingram, Porter. I think Porter is a really good spot here. You know, we've talked about every Denver player besides him. Kind of, he's a lot better priced here on DraftKings per shot qualities estimations. So he will likely be in a good number of my lineups. Still, again, Christian Brown gets the dual eligibility, so he will be too. And Trey Murphy. And then maybe even a little sleeper with Cameron Johnson. So maybe some Brooklyn Nets. Probably not going to get a lot of attention to the Brooklyn Nets tonight over on DraftKings.
Okay. Tim, your thoughts at small forward?
Yeah, so I think LeBron is probably your cash game guy, 10K. He's going to be very, very highly owned. There's definitely some pivots. Jason Tatum would be the first one, who's $100 more, who's going to be half as owned. Brandon Ingram is not as good of a price as he is on FanDuel, but he's still viable in GPPs at 93. Trey Murphy, 5,600. I think he's completely fine if you need somebody in the mid-range. Once again, Brandon Miller, I like in the mid-range quite a bit. Christian Brown with that shooting guard small forward eligibility should definitely be in your cash game lineups. And then I think that's really it. I guess I don't mind Champagne either at 4,800. I think he's okay along with Lou Dort at 4,800. So those are two sub 5K guys you can play.
Tim, you mentioned LeBron. Can I ask kind of an involved Lakers question? Like, if I've got the money, would you prefer LeBron or AD? Can you play both? And if so, who am I running it back with on what I think if they're playing Utah?
Yeah, they're playing Utah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the question I've been asking myself for the last, 4 hours or even longer. I was on a show earlier with Blunder about this slate. So, yeah, I think you can play them both. My first instinct about a run back would be Clarkson, but obviously you could go Collins as well. I think those two would be completely fine. Yeah, so yes, I think you can. I think you can play them both in the same lineup.
Okay, I think I maybe already had Clarkson built in, and I've got money for them both. That's what I'm doing. I'm playing them both and run it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
I think we are now at power forward. Tim, what do you like there?
So similar guys, LeBron, Tatum. We know that Jaren Jackson is going to be pretty low on at 7,900. Again, I really like Grant Williams at 4,800. Definitely, I would play him at power forward, not at center. So Grant Williams is a really, really strong value play, in my opinion. Trey Murphy, once again, at 5,600. He's a really strong value play as well. I'm trying to think who else I haven't mentioned. I think your boy, is he still your boy, Kevin? Keldon Johnson?
No.
Big body? No, you're done with him?
He's dead to me. Yeah, he was my boy his rookie year. He's dead to me now. All
right. Well, yeah, I guess we only have him projected for 24 minutes, but if he could get a little bit more run, I think he'd be decent in GPPs at 5,300. And then some optimizers are giving us some Dorian Finney-Smith at 4,100. I guess that's fine, but I think you can do better for a little bit more money. So I'm not going to be playing DFS, but I know that some optimizers are giving you that. I'd rather just go up to Grant Williams.
Yeah. Okay. Did get the news. Luka, by the way, is officially in. I think we were all leaning that way, but now it is actually happening. And shout out to producer Steve for reminding me. Today is Taco Tuesday, so now you've got to lock in LeBron. Now that we are away. Justin, what are you doing at power forward?
Over at power forward here for me, it's still going to be Tatum and Jaren Jackson. They are popping off in the shot quality model tonight. So feeling pretty good about both those guys. Going to be very heavy on them in a multitude of lineups, a multitude of ways. And then Porter Jr. just keeps popping up. I think might be a little bit slept on in terms of the additional shot diet that he could see. It's not exactly there's just gonna be a chance for them all the Denver guys. One of them is gonna probably be in the winning lineup tonight for the millionaire maker or something like that. But I don't know. Like it's not exactly easy. I think the forwards are a lot more saturated tonight. You're not gonna have nearly as much trouble finding a forward to get you where you need to go. For me, I still like Mobley a lot as well. Someone who probably projecting for very low ownership, just like Jackson. So I love my contrarian plays. And then I think maybe even Lauri Markkanen, if you really want to go a little further down the list. I think he could be a bit slept on, projecting for even lower. 8%? So yeah, not crazy, but pretty low.
He would be a good contrarian run back with the build that we were talking about, Kevin.
Yeah. I love that. He's also really, really good. So I don't know if I can afford it, but I might try to work things around and see what I can do. So, okay, Justin, I want your thoughts at center, please.
Yes. Center here for me, pretty clear choice. It's Anthony Davis. It's not really funny how much better he is than the rest of the field tonight. It's a little unfortunate. It means that, everyone's going to have him. 28% projection, pretty high. But again, I think you can find some pretty good talent. Jalen Williams is a very solid contributor. Someone the shot quality data loves, takes very good quality shots, not very far away from the rim ever. Same thing going to go with Evan Mobley, who, again, projected 21 points, should be very likely in the shot quality model to do well, especially if that is a fast-paced game. I think there's a chance that, a full game stack, Boston and Cleveland could win tonight. So that's where I'll plant my foot at the end of the show here.
I love that. I approve of that kind of hot take there. Tim, your thoughts here at center?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis is the clear and obvious first choice. He should be in your cash games. You should be playing him in single entry. He's 10-7. And then it's going to be interesting where ownership goes, either Zach Collins or Dario Saric. I think you should just save the money and go Saric at 4,700. That leaves Zach Collins completely viable in large field GPPs. But really, right now, I'm getting to double center and everything on DK. So it's either I'm going AD and Collins or AD and Saric, and then in some builds that I'm seeing, it's Collins and Saric and no AD, and then you go LeBron. But I'm playing AD, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Can I play Derek Lively? He's down to 4-4. He's still getting the start, although he's kind of splitting those center minutes. Tim, any interest? Can he pop off for 40 fantasy points for me?
It's just that range is so strong, with Saric and Collins, and then and then Horford's pretty strong play also. You have Ben Simmons there. You have Grant Williams there. I don't like it that you're going to be playing somebody who's going to get a split share of the minutes. Right. So I'm not that high on him, to be honest with you.
Okay. It is Zach Collins' birthday today, but Jimmy says Zach is getting channel caked on his birthday. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I'm a little worried. Coming off that 20-point night last night, I think there's always a lot of quick reactions in the NBA, right? When people score, everyone wants to bet them and get them the next night in their lineups, and sometimes it's just not how it goes. Question about PJ, little middle of the pack there for us at shot quality. Not crazy, but not running to get him in our lineups tonight either.
Okay, very good, guys. We have about 7-8 minutes here until actually, Justin, did I get your thoughts at center? Did you have any names you wanted to add? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did. I said AD and Mobley.
Okay, excellent. Guys, we've got 7-ish minutes until lock. Let's open it up to some QQs. Make sure you hit us with the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. We're trying to keep this content free. Here we go. FanDuel GPP. How about Kyle Filipowski at power forward, yes. Tim? He may get even more run if the game blows out.
I'm not really that high on him. Just because that price range at power forward center is really, really strong. I suppose, he's projected for 11% ownership. I'm not really that high on him, but I guess it's not horrible.
Okay. Tim, right back to you from D-Rock, DKGPP, Merrill and Braun, or Jerome and Clarkson. Kind of those mid-value guys?
The first one.
Okay. Let's see. Justin, I'm going to give this one to you. Sean says, FanDuel GPP, Saric is only 1% owned. Is he a good play at that ownership?
It's definitely a play I think you need to consider making at least a little bit of, right in that range in terms of, I would call it like a second tier recommendation from Shot Quality's model tonight. Of course, forwards are stacked, but that is just such a nice way for you to buy up, get Anthony Davis in your lineup, and use someone like Dario Saric to make sure that you can still, compete at other positions as well. So I like it. Yeah, I think it has its uses.
Very good. Chinatown says, Justin, I haven't been around the NBA this season all that much. Is Shot Quality a new RG product? Yes and no. It wasn't developed by RG, but please, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, sure. So Shot Quality itself is a computer vision algorithm that essentially views the game and analyzes where players are on the floor when they take their shot, both the entire offense to understand spacing, what motion they used, like if they came off the dribble, if it's a dribble handoff off the screen, and then if it's a step back three, or if they're going to go for a contested dunk attempt, how good every individual player is at that shot. So we have like every shot in a database that's ever been taken in the last 5 or 6 years in college, NBA, WNBA, you name it. And so we estimate the actual expected value of every shot to come up with a shot quality point, and then can essentially build out a more predictive understanding of the game. And we basically gave all that data to the RotoGrinders team and said, let's make an awesome projection model together. And you can now get that on RotoGrinders.
So there you go. There is your answer. Well said. Thank you, Justin. DK Cash from Freyas. Always good to see Freyas back in the chat. Tim, is Merrill Cash viable to be able to jam in LeBron and AD?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he is cash game viable.
Okay. Tim, right back to you. DK Cash, Williams, Murphy, AD, or Finney Smith, Collins, LeBron?
The first one.
Okay. We'll go to Fred, who says, Justin, DK GPP, do you prefer Saric or my guy, Derek Lively?
Oh, that's tough. I think in DK, it's definitely going to be Saric. I don't think it's very close.
Okay. We'll go to Beaner's question. This is right back to you, Justin. Would you pair SGA with Tatum? Would you pair SGA with Tatum or LeBron in a FanDuel GPP?
FanDuel, I just got to check pricing. I initially lean Tatum. What's he, 10-3? SGA is 10-8. Yeah, take Tatum.
Okay. A few more questions here in the YouTube chat. I'm scrolling up. Hit us with the thumbs up. Is this supposed to be... Is there someone named Stroder?
I think he means Strother.
So that's what I was going to ask, because we got another Strother question as well.
Yeah, Strother is not a bad play. He's not for cash games. For GPPs, he's fine. I think he's an okay play at 3,600 on DK. That's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Shane says, Tim, you want Dort or Grant Williams?
I prefer Grant Williams.
We'll go to Arsene, who says, Justin, you any love for Drew Holiday against the Cavs?
Maybe I think a little bit more so on FanDuel, but let me just check really fast right now for you against our projections. No, it's actually a little bit better on DraftKings for Holiday, but I wouldn't say we're running to get him in the lineup, but there's definitely some potential for him, especially if you think that game is high scoring, right? That whole game could be the most modeled game on the slate if they do play with maybe a little bit of like a lighthearted defensive spirit like we've seen in some of the NBA Cup games so far.
Okay, very good. By the way, we have a golf show coming up about 15 minutes after NBA lock. So if you want to hang out and go get a snack, get a drink, relax a little bit, and then 15 minutes after lock, which is 2 minutes from now, we have a PGA show coming up. And it's the last golf show for a few weeks because the PGA season is winding down. So make sure you like that. Also, we have 137 likes. We can get to 150, right? I'm not going to give you anything or beg, but smash the like button. You know what to do. Mobley or Triple J on DK? Justin, I'll give that one to you. Triple J is kind of your guy, right?
Wow, those are probably like my two guys tonight. So if you force me to choose between them, it's Jaren Jackson, I think. But if it was just like because of the way it worked, I think specifically Mobley's going to score a lot, but I think Jaren Jackson in general is just the general fantasy score is going to be better.
Gotcha. Marianne asking about Mobley, so we approve of that play. DK Cash, Tim, Lively or Simmons? It's not.
I say neither.
Neither. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's fair. To be clear, I'm the only person on Lively. Correct. This is just. It is not a projections darling play.
He is getting like around 10% projected ownership.
Okay.
So he's not
the only one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Less than a minute until lock. FanDuel single entry. Would you mind playing AD and AR with no run back? Oh, okay. So Tim,
Austin Reeves.
And
AD. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think you could. Yeah, I think you can do that without a run back. Yeah.
Okay. Aside says FanDuel Cash. Justin, I'm going to you. Simmons or Gafford straight up at center?
Ooh. Oh gosh. I feel like I'm gonna lean. You said FanDuel?
It was FanDuel at center. Ben Simmons or Gafford?
It's Simmons, and I hate myself for it.
It's that's fair. That's always a tough click, man. That's always a hard click.
Oof.
I saw a warm up of him. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter. He was just warming up, and he was maybe 8 feet away, taking little turnaround baby hooks, and he bricked like 11 in a row. And these are shots that no one guarding him. Just you should make those like bunnies all day, and he bricked 11 in a row. It was tough, man. It was tough to look at. Hey, guess what? We have hit the lock, and with that, it is time to bounce on out of here. So for Justin and for Tim and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been correct.